today we're going to be reading Blended by Sharon M. Draper. So, before we get started, I'm going to read the blurb. And also, just a note, but we're not going to read the whole thing. Why would we? It would take
just
too
a few
long.
chapters, probably like 10 till 10th chapter.
Yeah. Okay, anyways.
Just a quick disclaimer, we're going to take turns reading like dialogue, so that's why it'll be kind of scattered.
Yeah, and I'm going to read the girl, and she's going to read, other dialogue. So, anyways, let's get started.
Wait, you said you forgot to read the blurb.
Oh, right, sorry. You're so exotic. You look so unusual. But what are you really? 11-year-old Isabella, whose father is black and mother is white, is used to these kinds of comments, but it doesn't mean she likes them. And now that her parents are divorced and getting along worse than ever, Isabella feels like a push-me-pull-me toy. Being split between mom and dad is more than switching houses, switching nicknames, it's switching identities. If you're only seen as half of this and half of that, how can you ever feel whole? So that's the blurb. If you want to pause it and read it by yourself, then you can. 121. Okay, 121. You guys can read it.
Anyway, the link will be in the chat for the time, and let's continue.
Okay, let's get started. This book is dedicated to all the young people who must meld and merge, synthesize and harmonize to create family fusion. Blended.
And then chapter 1.
I have to read the whole thing because it's in the girl's perspective. Sorry. Plunk, plink, ripple, rumble, tinkle, twinkle, boomble. I know that's not an actual word, but it's a real sound. I can create any musical combination of sounds on my piano. That's my superpower. I sit, hands perched, with trusty fingers as I get ready to play. I work hard at it, always trying to find the right melodies and harmonies. The upstairs-downstairs scales that rise and fall, the 3 and 4 finger chords that stomp, the fingernail delicate tiptoeing up and down the keyboard, each such a new sound. White keys, black keys, one at a time, chords all together. 2 keys make a different sound and 3 play together. 4 or 5 matched at the same time is even better. I can do 9 keys, even 10, to make a chord, but to be honest, that sounds weird. Each combination at the piano is different. Bass, treble, major tones, minor wails, bass like a celebration, treble like tears. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Up, 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 down, down, down. Harmony, melody, chords, scale. The black keys play sad sounds like somebody crying. The white keys sometimes laugh. Using only my fingers, I can make the black and white keys dance together and do whatever I want. When I play the piano, I rock. It would be nice if the rest of my life came together like some kind of a magical musical symphony, but nah, not usually. Okay, so chapter 2. We're going to tell some dialogue, so don't worry. I started playing piano when I was 3, sort of. For my birthday that year, I got one of those plastic keyboard toys done up in cotton candy pink, the kind with fat keys that played way out of tune and drove grown-ups crazy. But I loved it. I wasn't interested in any of the dollar blocks or tea sets I'd been given, only that piano, plinking and plunking on it nonstop. My parents had to take it away from me that night, just for a little quiet, and I frightened myself to sleep. The next morning I demanded they take it down from the top of the refrigerator where they'd put it out of my reach. I played on it most of the rest of the day. I learned to pick out tunes, figure out the different tones of each note. I wanted more, so my big Christmas ask was always for a piano, top of my list. Even though my parents would tease me and pretend they'd forgotten, every other year I'd find a big box wrapped in red paper, a toy piano, a red one, another pink one, each one a little better than the one before. I taught myself to create my own tunes and later to read a little music. Yeah, I was obsessed, but still they were just toys, and usually some of the plastic keys would give out in a few months. The Christmas after I turned 7, there was no big box at all. I got a doll, which they should have known I was no longer interested in. Some clothes, a few art supplies for painting and drawing, and a couple of board games, which was dumb because we didn't usually sit down and play anything together as a family. I suppose it was selfish, but I was kind of mad. Finally, after all the gifts had been opened, Mom said, all chipper, I'm hungry, let's have pancakes.
Daddy said, just as cheery, good idea, Isabella. Would you like to check if we have pancake mix?
I couldn't figure out why he was asking me to do that, but it was Christmas, so I said sure. Sure. I checked the cupboard, actually found 2 boxes of the mix, and returned to the living room to report. Sitting in the middle of the floor, where just moments ago there'd been only ball of red and green paper, was a huge box wrapped in silver. On it was my name written in large black letters. I guess.
Open it, my parents said together.
I hesitated just for a second and tore through the wrapping. It was a portable piano, a real piano keyboard, a Casio. Oh, wow, I remember saying. It was black and shiny and seemed to fill up the whole living floor. I was in heaven. With 88 weighted keys, it almost felt like a real piano. Built-in speakers, too, plus buttons I could push for rhythms like jazz beats and military and drums. I didn't really need those, but they added fun. I could record on and play back stuff I created. It let me listen to myself so I could correct mess ups and smooth out the hard sections. Mom signed me up for piano lessons at school. Daddy bought me sheet music, but even though my parents were the ones who bought it for me, they started getting annoyed at my constant banging on that Casio. Some days they looked angry when they told me to give it a break, and it took me a while to realize they weren't really mad at me, but at each other. The noise probably jangled their nerves, and their nerves were plenty jangled, and had always fought about stupid stuff. But now it seemed like they fought all the time. They bickered over whether we'd have hot dogs or hamburgers for dinner. They squabbled over whether I should wear jeans or leggings. An argument could break out at any moment over lost car keys or bars of soggy soap or burnt toast. Then there was the Kool-Aid incident. Who would have thought something as simple as Kool-Aid would cause a fight? But yeah, that was about 3 years ago. I guess I was around 8. They started arguing right before dinner. Daddy hated blue Kool-Aid for some reason. He said the turquoise color and the raspberry flavor just didn't make sense, so he wouldn't drink it. I was sitting at the table getting ready to pour myself a big glass of it. Mom's voice got loud. Daddy's voice got louder. By this point, I was shaking, really shaking. Then Daddy actually started shouting, and I dropped the entire container of the stuff on the floor. The pitcher broke. Blue sticky mess went everywhere, and the shouting turned to bellows, and Mom started crying. And I knew I was in so much trouble. I ran into my room, curled on my bed, and covered my ears with a pillow. When the hollering finally settled down, it was way past my bedtime. I tiptoed into the kitchen and grabbed 2 slices of cold pizza from the refrigerator. Mom and Daddy had forgotten about dinner and apparently about me. Oops, sorry about the background noise. Anyways, you can read chapter 3, but let me do let's swap places.
I was just getting up the next
Wait a
morning.
second, guys. Before we do the chapter 3, I'm gonna try to quiet down the background noise. Be right back.
Yeah, so guys, while Aarna's doing that, we're on chapter 3 now, and we swap places as we said before. So yeah, let us wait for the background noise to settle, because then you can't hear us read. That much better. Okay.
Okay,
So, chapter 3. I was just getting up the next morning when Daddy knocked on my door. You awake?
No, I'm.
Oh yeah.
You awake? He asked gently.
Yeah,
You okay?
I guess. I sat up against my pillow.
I'm sorry, Isabella. I'm so very sorry that the problem between me and your mom get all mixed into your life.
Mom was crying, I told him. I'm not sure if I was accusing him or wanting an explanation. Probably both.
I know. I guess all I can tell you is how sorry I am.
Was all he said. I'm sorry I spilled the Kool-Aid. I made a mess. And I know sometimes I forget to wash the dishes.
No, he said quickly. You've done nothing wrong, not one thing, and it was our fault, not yours. We were being ugly to each other, and you shouldn't have had to hear it. I'm so sorry. This is about a drink that has too much sugar in it. He gave me a little hug and a smile. The Kool-Aid was just the thing we disagreed about this time. It could have been the carpet, the toothpaste, even the weather. We just can't seem to agree about anything anymore.
Yeah, I've noticed, I said in sort of a mumble. It's kind of hard not to.
Daddy traced my nose with his finger. We argue about lots of stuff, but never about you, Isabella. That we both agree on. We both absolutely adore you. You understand that, right?
It was clear he wanted me to say yes, so I nodded.
Your mom is upset with me, Izzy, not you, Daddy went on.
Weird, Daddy hardly ever called me that. It was Mom's nickname for me. He liked the sound of Isabella when he said it out loud. He'd always say,
None of this is your fault.
"So why are you two always yelling and mad at each other?" He nodded like I'd asked a smart question. He nodded for so long I wonder if he'd forgotten what I actually asked.
Then he said, because we've kind of ended up growing in different directions.
I pressed my lips together hard. This didn't sound like a good thing, so I told him, "But you're grown-ups. You're already done growing."
I'm so sorry, he said again. It made me kind of itchy listening to my dad keep apologizing to me. Somehow that just didn't feel right either. Sweetheart, the thing is, then he started sniffling. Sweetheart, the thing is, I've been unhappy for such a long time. So has your mom. The frustration just piled up. It's just not working anymore. Daddy was blinking hard.
What wasn't working? Our family? Because of frustrations, he'd said. I gulped. I'd caused lots of frustrations. A couple of weeks ago, I burned the cupcakes and I was making because I forgot to set the timer. I lost my math homework and Mom had to call the teacher. And twice last week, I forgot to flush the toilet. Ick. What is wrong with me? Is it my fault? I blurted out loud.
Oh, no, 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 he cried, reaching for me. Isabella, you're absolutely 100% perfect. It's us, not you. He paused then and looked me straight in the eye.
His face was so close that I could see a couple of beard hairs he'd missed when he shaved.
I want you to understand that your mom and I love you very, very, very much.
I waited. I could tell there was a but coming, a reason, an explanation, an excuse. And it came, the worst but ever.
But we have decided that it would be better if I went to live in another house so that we could stop all this fighting.
I shook his hand from my shoulder. You're moving out? I couldn't even make my mouth say words. To where?
He looked down, traced the pattern of my bedspread with his finger. Then he said something even worse. Isabella, I've been offered a job in California.
California! I jumped off the bed and glared at him. That's a million miles away from Ohio. How will I? When will I? And I couldn't even finish either question because I knew I'd start bawling.
You can visit every summer and at Christmas and spring break, and I'll always be here for you, baby girl. Always. He tried to sound positive, but it sure sounded like a load of fake to me.
Parents like to say stuff like that, I told him, balling my hands into fists. Open, close, open, close. But if you live in California, Daddy, you won't be here for my piano recitals or my soccer games. You will always be here for me.
Daddy started with the nodding thing again. There's FaceTime and video chats and all that computer stuff you kids are so good at. You can show me. We'll stay in constant contact every day. I promise.
Those tears in his eyes were getting ready to fall. No, he was not the one who should be crying, even if he did look like the saddest dad on earth right now. So I said, "Pinky swear," to make him feel better, even though this felt way too big for a little old Pinky. He offered me his left hand, strong and round. I offered it in mine, soft and pale. My hand was trembling, but then I pulled away suddenly. I had to ask him one more question. All the whispers and giggles and stifled remarks I'd heard at school kind of flooded in my mind. Stuff I'd ignored or brushed off. I had to ask. I had to know. Daddy, are you and Mommy splitting up because you're black and she's white? He got really serious. He circled my face with his hand, so gently. Then he whispered,
No, my precious Isabella. This has nothing to do with race. Please believe me. When your mom and I first met, we simply fell in love. We didn't see color. She saw me. I saw her. And for a while, that was enough. You've got to believe that. His eyes seemed to be pleading for me to understand.
I said nothing for a minute, staring at him for a long time, trying to memorize every inch of his cocoa brown face, his wide shoulders, his thick black hair. Slowly I offered him his pinky finger again. I pinky swear that I will love you. Wait, no.
I think he swear that I'll love you forever, he said, almost in tears.
I bit down on my lip. No crying. No. Me too, is what I said. I didn't add that the idea of forever without my daddy seemed to be like a musical sound.
I'll, I'll read this. Fine, okay. At first, the word divorce scared me. It was like our family had come down with a horrible, incurable disease or something, like that Kool-Aid picture. We were shattered, and my parents couldn't fix whatever was wrong. I was stupid sad after Dad left. I looked at a map of the United States at school. The distance was from Ohio to California was so huge. It could have been on another planet. It would take me 3 days just to drive there. But even if he had moved across town, he was gone from me. I couldn't see him or sit in his lap when I wanted to or needed to. And never mind what he said. Deep inside, I did feel like it was partly my fault. I messed up a lot. The Kool-Aid, the cupcakes. Then there was the time they'd given me a necklace after my first piano recital. It was a shiny musical note on a silver chain. Mom had warned me not to wear it to soccer practice, but I didn't listen. It fell off on the field somewhere and I couldn't find it. They said they were disappointed in me. That made my stomach hurt. So yeah, I really was one big frustration. During those first few weeks after Dad left, I spent the days walking around what was now the house for just me and Mom, touching all the dad places. The green kitchen chair, the one that didn't wobble, the empty bathroom shelf where he used to keep his aftershave that smelled like peppermint patties, the old pottery ashtray where he used to toss his keys. After dinner, I would carefully wash his favorite plate, the blue ceramic one, even though it hadn't been used, just so it wouldn't get dusty. I put it back in the cupboard next to that big red bowling plate he won a couple of years ago. I don't know why he didn't take those when he moved out, but I was glad they were still there, because maybe that meant he might come back, right? Plus, Mom's place was just so quiet all the time, so I hauled on my Casio again and again just to make some noise. When my parents finally got official custody papers with legal instruction from a judge, I guess that sealed everything. We were no longer a whole, but three separate pieces: a mom, a dad, a kid sliced in half. Actually, that makes us four pieces, because I have to be two people. Mom's Izzy and Dad's Isabella. But even though I got to go to the beach whenever I visited, and even though Dad's California house was awesome with a big old Steinway piano he got just for me, I always felt like a visitor, which I was. I only visited him. Daddy wasn't home, but I got used to it. What choice did I have? The system worked, basically until last year when Dad decided to move again, and suddenly he was just across town. And now that he's once again living in the same city as I do, the custody rules have changed. It took a little getting used to. Okay, true, it took a lot of getting used to.
Chapter 5. Dad lives in a really nice house now that he's back. I mean, ridiculously nice. The kind of house you see on TV shows about movie stars. It's in a ritzy suburb just outside of town. Mom still lives in the small house we all used to share. It's crisp and clean and usually smells like the candle fragrance she bought me that week. Last week, she was burning a lavender lime, a purple green swirled combination that actually smelled really good. She got it at Target. I wish I'd been with her. But unless we were doing a custody exchange, it's never the three of us together anymore. Probably never ever again.
Guys, I want to go get some water, but you guys can continue reading as long as there's no dialogue needed. Actually, just wait. I'll come back.
There's no dialogue on this page, I think.
It's okay.
So, okay, guys, so we're gonna wait. And actually, I want to go get some water too. So, I'll BRB too. And I'll meet you guys in a minute. You can stay here for 5 seconds. Sorry about that long absence, guys. I'm back. Arna's drinking her water because she had to get a cup from the cabinets. Anyway, so here's the book again. I got it.
Back. So you can continue reading.
So here it is. When Dad moved back and he and Mom went to court so a new custody arrangement could be worked out, I was not allowed to go. Excuse me, but I think I should have had a say in it, especially since the whole thing was about me anyway, but I didn't. Right before the court date, I spent one whole Saturday night on my laptop researching custody laws in Ohio. My mom is my legal guardian because she's like my mom, but she and Dad have shared custody of me, which means they have to take turns. But I have no legal right to choose. That's a real phrase from a custody article I looked up. Makes me feel pretty small. Some judge who have never met me decided to split me in half. That's like that's even humanly possible. So I live with Dad and Anastasia.
Anastasia.
Yeah, whatever. Dad's lady friend, as he calls her, and her son Darren. One week. Then every Sunday at exactly 3 p.m. in front of the whole Apple store at the mall, I am exchanged like a wrong pair of jeans, and I live with Mom and her boyfriend John Mark the next week. Yeah, they love me and all that, but it doesn't stop them from slicing my life in half every 7 days, and then acting like that's normal or something. One Monday, I wake up in a different bed than when I slept in the week before. I hate that. Birds make nests in trees, right? One nest, one tree. Who had ever heard of a robin moving her eggs every week to a new tree? That'd be crazy, right? Yep, crazy. Welcome to my life.
John Mark Medzucker has been around longer than the other 6 guys Mom sort of dated, whose names I chose not to remember. Before I got to know him, I used to call him simply Number 7, but not to his face. After a couple of years, it was clear that he and Mom really liked each other, and I could tell he really likes me. He's honest, real, polite, and likes crunchy peanut butter and apricot jelly, never grapes, just like I do. Mom smiles, sometimes even giggles when she's around him, and I could see a little of the tired, pinched look leave her face when he comes into a room. I like that he makes her happy. He's a redneck. I don't mean that in a negative way, but he seriously has a sunburned red neck. He keeps sunblock on the kitchen counter and slathers it on each morning before he leaves the house. He keeps his hair cut short, so there really is no protection for his poor neck. I never met a person who really had skin like that. One of those people who fry at the beach. Honest. He's the only guy I know who cooks like a pop-tart in the sun, but he's pretty cool. He laughs a lot, loves to sing, blushes a lot, is a little overweight. I've never seen him in a bad mood. He's got dozens of interesting tattoos. It's fun to read his arms during the summer when he wears short sleeved shirts. When he gets in his truck, he turns the country western station up my as loud as it will go, then sings along with folks like Willie Nelson and Garth Brooks. He says he likes the oldies, whatever that means. He really likes my mom.
Chapter 7 Exchange Day. It's Sunday. I hate Sundays. I hate them. Even when I'm a wrinkled old lady, Sunday will always remind me of a worn gray fake leather sofa at the mall. It's where Dad sits to wait for me when it's his turn to for for custody for the week. Mom waits on the same. Okay, Mom waits on the same couch. Wait, I can't read.
I'm gonna check how many pictures.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. So Mom waits on the same couch. Wait, where was it? Yeah. Mom waits on the same couch on the opposite week. The stupid sofa never changes. It's just the faces of grown-ups who come to claim me. I'm pretty sure my parents hate Sundays too. Today Dad waits, stiffly tapping his fingers, like he can't even relax until this is over. Probably true. He's never late. Anastasia sits beside him. She, at least, is smiling. Her shoes and purse are probably real leather. Very fancy looking. She's dressed in an amber tone wool suit. That's almost the same color as she is. Probably took her hours to do her face and hair. I touched the fuzzy frizz I call mine. It's bushed out of the scrunchie again. But today, I break into a wide smile as Mom and I approach them because Anastasia's son, Darren, has come with them. He's, well, not to sound like a fangirl, but he's totally cool. He knows how to dress so he looks really sharp without looking like he worked at it. And he's got a gravelly sounding voice that makes my friends get all kinds of silly. I glanced back guiltily at Mom, who was pale and tired, trying to scrape a stain off her Waffle House uniform with her fingernail. John Mark, his side, wearing his favorite blue bowling shirt, walks on the other side of me. They're speed walking because we're late. Again, I wonder if the people are watching us like we're on some sort of reality TV show. Caption would read, Chocolate Family meets Vanilla Family in the artificial reality that is a mall. Caramel daughter caught helplessly between the two. When we get to the sofa, Mom simply nods curtly, and my father and Anastasia and gives me a forehead kiss, then turns and hurries away with John Mark. Dad nods as well. No need to exchange words, just me. They've got that head nodding thing. Wait, I can't read it. Yeah, they got the.
I had to get my phone fixed.
How's Alicia? I asked. My turn to tease. I hardly saw you the last time I was there.
If you must know, he says, poking me in the arm. Alicia is so very yesterday. I'm working at the court to ask Monique to the dance next week.
I bet she's checking her phone every hour in case you text.
Maybe, he says, his voice a mystery.
Still living up there on the honor roll?
Is there anywhere else? He rolls his eyes.
How's Mrs. Pearson at the homeless shelter?
Still passing out mashed potatoes, blankets, and goodie bags.
I've got some of those little lotion and shampoo bottles in my bag for her, I tell him. I saw them at CVS for sale, 50 cents each the other day. So I bought a bunch to help Mrs. Pearson out.
You're the best, Izzy.
I know, I tell him as I play punch him on the side. Here's the scoop on Darren. He's totally awesome in addition to volunteering. At the homeless shelter, he gets grades that land him on the honor roll every quarter. He runs the fastest 100-meter dash on the track team, and he's got a boatload of colleges writing him letters every day, asking him to consider their university. They're asking him. Yeah, pretty impressive. Best thing, he buys me ice cream every time I ask, even if it's before dinner. Like I said, he's the total package. I go to Anastasia and give her a hug as well. She's a good hugger. She feels real, not faked. She smells like Shalimar. It's a fancy French perfume I learned to sorry I've learned to like.
So good to see you again, Isabella, she murmurs. I missed you, and she means it. Whiplash, that's what it feels like when I'm on a ride at the amusement park and it stops real fast. Last summer, Mom took me to the Hamilton County Fair. I loved it. The tilt-a-whirl and the dragon tail and the racing roller coasters on a double track. Best Saturday ever. Then it was over. Like this week, I'm at Mom's. I feel comfy when I'm here. Then the week is over, and I'm with Dad. I gotta get comfortable again in another house with different food and clothes and rules and stuff. It gets to be a pain. A weekly whiplash. At least I don't have to change schools every time. Lakeview Mountain School is halfway between my parents' houses. There's no lake nearby, no mountain, no view of anything much except houses and apartment buildings. It's big. We've got grades 5 through 8. Fifth graders look like scared little mice at the beginning of the school year. Did I look like that last year? They grew up to be 8th graders who remind me of sumo wrestlers, but we know to keep out of their way. I like the cafeteria though. They tried to set it up so it almost looks like a real restaurant, and the food is only half bad. Today I plopped myself next to Heather and Imani, who are already munching away.
What's
Here,
up, girl? Imani asks.
Nothing, I reply as I grab one of her chips. Imani is tall and slim and dark, like some kind of African princess from a movie. She wears her hair in an afro on purpose. It's neat and black and perfectly round. Mine, on the other hand, is thick and frizzy with brownish gold strands that can escape from every scrunchie ever made. The hairspray that can hold it down has not yet been invented. Yeah, look at me. And Manny dances ballet. She's really limber and can fold herself into something that looks like a pretzel. When she walks, it's almost like she glides. Boys trail behind her in silence and gawk. She ignores them. Nobody looks at me like that. Heather with hair I can only describe as tangerine colored. I'm for real. She once told me that she thought her hair made her look like she was wearing a pizza. Ick, I told her. Give yourself some credit, girl. You're a fashion flame.
Hey, I like that, she replied, faking her runaway pose.
Heather usually brown bags her lunch. Her mom insists on packing healthy stuff like apples and carrot sticks. But as I look at the spaghetti goo I picked up from the food line, her lunch looks pretty good. And we already end up sharing whatever chips Imani brings. After lunch, we take our time leaving the cafeteria before heading to English class where Mr. Cosilia waits. As we pass a table full of sixth grade boys, I shout out there in a low voice, have you ever seen anybody with eyes as green as Clint Hammond's?
Or a face as goofy as Logan Lindquist's, Heather adds.
She makes fun of him, but I know she's called his name over and over and over again on the last page of her English notebook. Capital L is her favorite letter. Heather bully bumps into their table, jiggling it. The boys look up, then pretend they didn't. I turn around just in time to see Logan toss a french fry right at us. It lands in Heather's hair. She pulls it out and cracks up. She does not throw it away, I notice. Toby Smith, who, by the way, is wearing a sleeveless athletic jersey even though it's the middle of January, raises both his arms in the air, makes a stupid roaring noise, and sits back down. His buddies, including Clint and Logan, give him high fives. Now we act like we didn't see anything, but as soon as we get into the hall, Heather says, "You, did you see Toby's got long, dangly underarm hair?"
Imani nods. Totally gross.
Clint is still the cutest, I say shyly.
For sure, Imani agrees. Best looking white boy in the 6th grade.
I'm not sure what to say to that, but she and I kind of look at each other. Of course I know Clint is white. I just never thought about him being white. I saw hard.
Then Heather adds, except for maybe
Logan Lindquist,
Liz.
we all say in unison.
Chapter 9. Mrs. Kazili, who teaches us both English and history, is a certified crazy man. At least in our opinion. He wears Uggs every day. Well, not Uggs, it's called UGGs every day. Even in the summer. I bet his feet totally stink at the end of the day. His clothes are, well, let me describe them. He wears stuff like maroon capes and turquoise slacks or stiff-colored button-down shirts with pinstripes. He's got huge muscles, and he boasts about how he works at the gym after school. He's one of those people who might get noticed by a fashion magazine, maybe under the category of distinctive teacher style, or in an athletic magazine under the heading "Teachers with Six Packs." He likes the colors. He calls them hues, so he might wear lavender and chartreuse together. Hardly for fashion, but I swear he dresses funky so he can have new vocabulary words. Word. The man is a vocab freak. Get it? Word. Vocabulary. Never mind. Anyway, this week's words, a bunch of ordinary ones like mischief, and possibility, but he threw two cool ones in there. Collywobbles and garden glue. Logan Lindquist raises his hand. Why we ever gonna need words like this, yes?
To broaden your language skills, Mr. Pace says in that reasonable, patient teacher voice.
Without missing a beat, Logan hollers.
I'm feeling kind of cobby wobbles, sir. I gotta hurl. He went to the garbage can, picks it up, and pretends to gag and vomit.
Of course the class cracks up, and of course Mr. Cazelli is not amused. He opens his mouth to shut Logan up.
When Logan suddenly hollers, "Gardy Lou!" and slings the contents of the wastebasket across the front of the room.
Balled up papers and potato chip wrappers and empty juice boxes fly everywhere. Chaos, shock, laughter. Logan gets an hour of detention.
Totally worth it, he says with an arm pump to his friend Toby of the hairy armpits.
In Logan's defense, I'm sure none of us will ever forget the meaning of those two words. When Mr. Cazelli tells us our homework assignment, however, he's got me wanting to shout, "Gardy Lou," and chuck the wastebasket across the room. We have to write an essay called "The Real Me." Heather and Imani both raised their hands. They always ask questions. I haven't got the nerve to. Mr. Cazelli nods towards Heather. She gets called all the time.
So why do we have to write this now? She asked in her most polite teacher voice. This is more like a getting to know you paper for like when school first starts in the fall.
I shrink in my seat, just in case the teacher decides to blow fire from his nostrils like a dragon.
But he's cool with the Christian. I want each of you to consider your personal identity as we begin the new year. Each of you is uniquely wonderful. I want you to think about that as you write. He's like beaming as he says it. I bet he spent his whole holiday vacation thinking this one up.
Heather gives me the "you gotta be kidding me" bug eye. I cover my mouth to keep from laughing. Your paper is due on Monday, Mr. Cazelli said, with at least 4 paragraphs. The whole class groans, but he's good at ignoring us. He never gets around to calling on Imani. For me, I gotta remember that I'll start the essay at Mom's house and turn it in while I'm at Dad's. The assignment totally sucks. The real me, I have no idea what that is, especially there's pretty much 2 of me.
Okay, and that's chapter 10. Do you think I can read chapter 10 because it's only 2 pages?
Yeah.
Yeah!
What the heck? Okay.
Yeah, blah, blah. I know most of you probably want to say yes, so yeah. The real me, my name is Isabella Bayer Thornton. Isabella is an awesome name. It flowed like the music of a waterfall. I gotta admit, though, when I think of a character in a book named Isabella, she's tall, got blue eyes, and has long, flowing, pale gold hair. Well, actually, that kind of describes my mom. But that blue-eyed princess is so not me. My skin is kind of bronze colored, I guess. I'm not real tall. My eyes are a deep green color, and my hair is wild and kinky and kind of a dirty brown. If I'm reading a book about a girl named Isabella, I figure at some point she's going to walk on a golden sandy beach where the wind is blowing so that her perfect blonde hair can blow in the breeze. I've read that line in the stories. Clearly, none of those writers have never met me or my hair. Ha! My father gave me a middle name Bedia. It's African and it means unique or unprecedented. I like that. He told me that he and mom had their first argument on the day I was born. She didn't want me to be bogged down by what she called some crazy African name, but dad insisted. And he was right. When I say my middle name out loud, it lifts me up. I stand a little taller. When I'm a famous pianist, I'll make sure name written in fancy script on the program says my full name. Isabella Badia Torton. It is who I am. So, guys, that's it for today. Have an awesome day, and also be sure to check out
Our other videos and our movie that we have created called
um the Italian
Yeah.
Heist.
Yeah, so please check that out.
Yeah. So, anyways, have an awesome day. Bye.
See ya. Subscribe.
Yeah, and enjoy the future video.